Hi viewers, how are you? Today we will discuss the ancient Indian University, the time they give so many scholars who enlightened the world of his knowledge. So start the main course of our dish, shall we? If you find after that this video, kindly subscribe to my channel and feed your precious comment on the comment box. Your view is most valuable for us. So let be the start of our ancient University saga's first episode. The majority of the present universities in Europe and America are the offsprings of the medieval University of Europe. The University of ancient India have a prouder history than that of their counterpart in the ancient Western world. At least one of them, with Takshila, flourished several centuries before the University of Alexandria, Athens, and Constantinople. The universities of ancient India had also a more impressive teaching and research program. The teacher who taught in the hallowed precincts of Takshila, Nalanda, and Vikramshila were scholars of high eminence and repute. This is not all. The cordial relationship that exists between them and their student was indeed sublime. Such ideal teacher-student relationship has no parallel in the long history of educational thought and practice. It is hoped that it would be useful also to the general reader. Takshila is the oldest among the university in ancient India. It was well known as a center of learning as earlier as during 700 BC. The educational activities at this place must have started at least a few centuries earlier. The place derived its name from Taksh, a son of Bharat. The Ramayana narrates how Bharat, after defeating the Gandharvas, found the two famous cities Takshila in the Gandharva Desh for Taksh and Pushpakalvata for other son Pushpakala in the Gandhara. This is also the place where King Janmejay performed his famous serpent sacrifice to avenge the death of his father Parikshit. Until very lately, it was not possible to locate the place exactly. Pliny has pointed out that the place was situated at a distance of about 55 miles to the east of the river Sindhu. With the help of the numerous stupas, vihar, and temple, as found out of Conningham, the situation of the city has now been exactly located. Archaeological findings show that the city covered an area of 6 square miles. A copper plate inscription bearing the name of Takshila has also been unearthed from the site. The place is situated 20 miles off the west of Rawalpindi, somewhere near Sindheri at a distance of 1 mile to the southeast of Kalaksarai. Takshila came to be known as a famous center of higher education because several learned teachers who were recognized as authorities on various subjects resided at the place. It was because of their excellence that they could attract hundreds of students from distant parts of the subcontinent, in spite of the long and dangerous journey which they had to undergo. There was nothing by way of coordination of the work done by teacher, nor was there any external authority like the king or the local leader to direct their activities. Each teacher was an institution in himself, and enjoyed complete autonomy in his work. His authority was final in fixing up the duration of the course, in directing the course of studies, in selecting or rejecting student and in laying down rule for guiding the day-to-day work. And as each teacher was an authority on the subject of his specialization, there was little scope for any conflict of interest or competition among them. The knowledge of all these teachers put together represent everything that was worth knowing in those days. The studies terminated when the teacher was satisfied with the achievement of his student, and there was no rigid regulation of any sort of regiment. The duration of the course, normally specialization in various subjects of study, took 8 years, but the period could be reduced or lengthened in accordance with the intellectual capacity of the student and the amount of energy and application shown by them. There were also some cases where teacher advised students to leave their studies because they could not fit themselves in the social, intellectual or moral atmosphere of their schools, which were invariably located in the teachers' private houses. The completion of study was not measured by any formal examination, nor was there any convocation for conferring degree. Examinations were treated as superfluous because the procedure of teaching subject was critical and thorough, and unless one unit was very thoroughly mastered by the student, he was not allowed to proceed to the succeeding portion. The student who completed their study did not receive any written certificate or diploma, because it was believed that knowledge was its own reward, and using it for earning bread or for achieving any selfish end was a sacrilege. As has already been pointed out before, only higher courses were taught in this institution. These institutions therefore took students to the end of the knowledge of some particular subjects, taking it up from the secondary stage which the student had already finished elsewhere before joining these institutions. The process of education, which began at home with primary education and widened in extent in the education in the ashram, which imparted that corresponded to secondary education, reached its culmination in this place, which imparted education at the university level. According to the system prevalent in ancient India, primary education was important to children up to the age of 8, and secondary education covered from 8 to 12 years more. So the students who come to learn the ancient Indian universities were approximately 16 to 20 years of age. Takshila was so well known for its teachers that hundreds of students went to his place in search of knowledge, leaving aside the comfort and safety of their home. Their parents' sacrifice in sending them to this place was indeed great, particularly which one take into consideration the risk involved in long journey in those days when travel was slow, dangerous and uncertain. Numerous references show that students in hundreds used to flock to this city from distant places like Benares, Rajgarh, Mithila, Ujjain, Koshal, Madhya Pradesh, and from the Kuru kingdom in the north. Takshila was thus the intellectual capital of India, a central university that exercised sovereignty over the world of letters in India. All the other centers of learning in different parts of the country were affiliated to it. Used to denote these two type of courses were the Ved and the Shilp. The number of Ved study in the university is mentioned as 3, but it is difficult to explain why the fourth Ved, the most probably the Earth Ved, should have been dropped from the list. It was so perhaps because the content of the Earth Ved was more or less secular in nature and the topic treated therein were also included in the mathematics, accountancy, agriculture, commerce, cattle breeding, smithy, carpentry, medicine and surgery, archery and allied military art, astronomy, astrology, divination, magic, snake charming, art of finding hidden treasure, music, dancing and painting. It is obvious that the number 80 need not be taken too literally. It was very considerable. The principal tenets of Buddhism must have found place in the curriculum. It is also probable that the study of Buddhist text must have received more critical attention, particularly after the birth of the assertive Mahayana Buddhism in about the 2nd century AD. The object in including Buddhism as a subject must obviously have been not to support the spread of Buddhism or to justify its tent, but chiefly to enable the scholar studying at the place to disprove effectively Buddhist teaching. Admission was free to all castes except the Chandals, the 5th caste. There was no restriction about the choice of subjects, which was entirely left to students. What the people learned at the university was based on the dictum, knowledge for knowledge's sake. The accomplishment had not to be used as an instrument for earning one's livelihood, which never was a problem in ancient India. This is hallowed presence of Takshila. Even the Jatak, which has supplied to us most of the information regarding this university, are completely silent on this point. Tradition mentions that Panini, the greatest grammarian of the Sanskrit language, was a student of this university. So also was Chanakya, well known as Kautilya, the minister of Chandragupta Maurya, who reduced the Nanda dynasty of Magध to ashes. Jivaka, the famous physician, is also described as a student of this university. He was an expert in medicine and had studied under a world-renowned physician for a period of 7 years. It is said that Jivaka cured Emperor Bimbisar of his fistula and as a result was appointed a physician to the kings and to the Buddhist Sangh. He is also said to have cured King Pradyota of Ujjaini of jaundice. He was very well known for his surgical operation. In the case of one rich merchant who was suffering from a head disease, it has been pointed out that he tied him fast to his bed, cut through the skin of the head, drew apart the flesh on each side of incision, pulled 2 worms out of the wound. When closed up the sides of the wound, stitch up the skin on the head and anointed it with salve. He is also said to have successfully cured cases of twisted intestines. The end of this university. It was already been pointed out before that the Kushan conquered that part of the country in the 1st century AD and ruled over it up to about 250 AD. As these people were little cultured, those times must have been most unfavorable for the propagation of education. The rule of Kushan was followed by that of the little Yachchis. They also were foreign to any kind of culture and learning. The final blow was struck by the Huns in the middle of the 5th century AD when the dying embers of this proud seat of learning got completely extinguished. So that's it, viewers. I hope those people who fascinate the ancient history they like it very much because the Takshila is a forgotten place and much less document evidence remains so that this video helpful for all of us. My next episode in ancient university is Nalanda. So take patience and wait for my next video. We will meet shortly. Take care of your health.